Our story is of Kenya, a land dominated by the glacier-covered peak which rises 17,000 feet above the Indian Ocean. A land of contrasts, a land of cool highlands, a tropical coast, and great plains teeming with game. It is a land where the savage and the civilized live in harmony, a land which is young and vigorous and growing, a vast land where 20,000 Europeans and 45,000 Indians live in the midst of 3.5 million Africans. Many years ago came white men of adventure, pioneers, who found the country beautiful, the climate kind, and the soil fertile. They stayed and founded the young colony where men make their homes, where their children are born, taught, and grow strong and healthy. A new generation to tend the coffee trees, to till the soil and to cup the sisal, to tend the dairy herds and dig the gold-bearing ore. For on these things the colony's prosperity depends. In the building of this new land, the people of India, artisans and traders and others, have played their part. It was a peaceful land, at peace not only with its neighbors, but in itself. And then, as in the days of the slave trader, a new aggressor arrived to pillage the homes of the proud Ethiopians. But this time he came with tanks and aeroplanes, with poison gas. Axis aggression has started. War clouds gather. A Kenya farmer leaves his plough to report for duty with the Kenya Defense Force. A large proportion of the men of the colony were soon in uniform. On lonely farms in the highlands, there are hundreds of women ploughing, sowing, harvesting, and controlling African labor. Alone, each woman manages hundreds of acres, yet remains the mother of her family. Food must be produced for themselves, for the colony, and for the army's needs. Intensive training begins. The colony's Italian neighbor has not yet entered the war. The young men of the land become the Kenya Defense Force and the Kenya Regiment. In peacetime, a squadron of the Royal Air Force had been stationed in Nairobi, but with the outbreak of hostilities in Europe, it was needed elsewhere. Keen amateur flyers now came with their own small machines. Within 24 hours, they were escorting ships in and out of Mombasa Harbor, maintaining communication flights, and had established a training school for pilots. Troops will be arriving. There may be civilian air raid casualties. VADs will be needed. The British Red Cross and St. John Ambulance organizations start lecture classes in all parts of the colony. Soon examinations are passed, and the housewife and the typist have become voluntary assistant nurses in the wards and operating theaters of the hospitals. They are filling gaps left by numbers of trained nurses who have joined the army. Mussolini has joined his Axis partner just in time, so he hopes, to share in the spoils of war. At Government House, Nairobi, His Excellency the Governor, Sir Henry Moore, signs the proclamation which puts into immediate effect preparations which have been made in case the war should reach the colony's frontiers. In a broadcast, His Excellency said, "Mussolini will have a rude awakening. We are proud to be able to play an active part, however small, in the defense of the British Empire against unprovoked aggression." One of the first precautions to be taken was to guard the railway bridges against fifth columnists. Kenya is the youngest of the African territories, but now a stream of men and equipment begin to arrive to reinforce the colony's European, Indian, and African manpower. From South Africa, from northern and southern Rhodesia and Nyasaland, from Nigeria and the Gold Coast, from the Belgian Congo and free French Equatorial Africa and other parts of the East African territories of Uganda and Tanganyika. From outside Africa come imperial troops from Britain and Indian troops from India. And Hitler believed that the empire was degenerate and would not hold together. This war has proved the solidarity and brotherhood of the British Commonwealth of Nations. It has also shown a united Africa. A parade of South African troops has just arrived and is being reviewed by Kenya's Governor, Sir Henry Moore, who greets them in this distant colony on behalf of His Majesty the King. The women of Kenya rapidly adapted themselves to conditions of modern warfare. They were joined by many volunteers who came many thousands of miles from their homes in South Africa, Rhodesia, Nyasaland, Tanganyika, Uganda, and even from Malaya and England. In normal life, they were journalists, school teachers, farmers, and businessmen's secretaries. Two had been aviators, one a masseuse, one lived in a game reserve, one ran a dog's home, and one had been a skating champion. But they have given all this up to stand beside the men who are fighting for freedom. When soldiers have leave from camp, they need canteens and clubs where they can find rest and recreation and good meals. These were quickly built and organized with the help of voluntary women workers. What a man! And what a blitzkrieg!